All right, so
I have to give you a little bit of credit for this.
Yeah, we can overdub it later. Just
Had any crazy stories about? Oh wait, no, I do. I got robbed at gunpoint, mugged.
Checking for me, but I ain't checking for them. No.
sleazy real estate guys, but all right, so another episode of the EP podcast here. I got my good friend Troy here. How are you doing?
My guy. Good.
So help me out here. How do you pronounce your last name again?
Bernal. B-E-
Bernal. Troy Bernal. Troy Bernal. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. You're the first podcast of the year, man. Shit.
Excited for that, man.
How are you feeling? How was your New Year's?
Good. It was good.
Good?
Yeah, I spent it with you actually.
We spent some of it, and then you disappeared on us because you're the early bird, but it was also like 3 a.m. so it wasn't as early, early to some people, late for some people,
Right.
But because unless you're like ET waking up at 3 a.m., it's not the same thing.
No.
Have you ever heard of ET, the hip hop preacher?
Yeah, Eric Thomas.
That guy.
Yeah.
You gotta want it harder than you want to breathe, something like that. Is that what he says?
You gotta want it harder than you want to breathe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, thank you so much for coming today. I'm super excited to have you. I have a lot of people in the background here, so thank you everyone for being here. Really appreciate it. It's always fun. Just happy for people to get to know you a little bit about your background, how we know each other, and just kind of go off from there.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Absolutely.
All right, man. So how did we meet? I draw a little bit of a blur on it.
Yeah. So I remember I met you through Milan at a bar. Klondike Kate's.
Yeah.
Klondike Kate's. Yeah.
Klondike Kate's.
And it's funny the way we met is because we started talking about real estate. I think Milan.
Here, I'm sorry. Let me help you out with the mic a little bit, just to make sure we pick you up. There you go. Good. So we were talking with real estate, right?
Yeah, I added you on Snapchat. You got the little camera emoji as your Snap name.
Yeah. Before I had it like that, I didn't realize that when you put that, because I don't know, I just was on like photography shit back then.
Yeah.
So I had it as that. And you were telling me that you're a real estate agent and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, and you had just told me that you were working on some project where your system pretty much scoped out investment properties.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my property analyzer.
Yep.
So what it typically is I find a listing on any of the MLSs, and I have it run through 3 different tests, and if it passes those tests, I actually call my realtor. I'd be like, I want to go look at this property and to see if there's anything going on from there. And then we kind of make a decision after that. So that's what it was. I still work on it. I don't work on it as much as I used to just because at least all of 2022, I found maybe a handful of properties that would pass those tests. Given the market, everything, with interest rates so high, it really cuts your spread very thin.
Right.
So it was very tough.
Right.
But yeah, no, I did build that. That was pretty fun. But I'm also in real estate, so it was very beneficial to me. But what is it that you do in real estate, man?
Yeah, so I typically just work with buyers and sellers. If people want to find a house, I take them out and go show it to them. If they want to put an offer on it, I facilitate that on my end. I also do short sales as well, which pretty much just means help out homeowners that are backwards on their mortgage and they have to sell for some kind of distress situation. And that's an emerging phenomenon that's coming along after the 2008 crisis. It was prevalent back then. It was around during the in-between from here into 2008, but it's coming back because of the interest rates and the pandemic and everything.
Okay, so how did you even get in this field to begin with?
Yeah, so I was in accounting, and
oh really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, I remember when you interviewed your boy. I was talking to him last time.
Yeah, Stu.
Yeah. He knew the CPA firm I worked at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, you worked at a CPA firm?
I was at a CPA firm for a year.
Were you a CPA?
I was on track to be a CPA.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I was on track to be a CPA. They were paying for all my classes and continuing education, and I just found myself not enjoying sitting at a computer 12 hours a day, just crunching numbers, doing taxes, auditing. To me personally, I found no fulfillment in it.
Yeah.
I'm more of a people person. I like to go out and solve problems that have an impact on people versus just trying to help the rich stay rich.
Right.
Get richer. I felt like I was helping people that already have way more than enough, an abundance of money, and they're over here, crying about pretty much pennies on a dollar for them.
Exactly.
So I was just like, this isn't for me.
I guess it's a different experience when you just trying to save somebody on their year-end taxes or versus the experience of helping someone buy their first home ever, right? There's a different sense of feeling when it comes to
Huge
that.
difference.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I was telling with the accounting field, and I feel the exact same way. I don't think anyone just wakes up one day and says, oh, I want to be in accounting. I want to crunch numbers. I want to run a freaking P&L statement or something like that. I don't think anybody wakes up like that.
Right.
So why accounting to begin with? Why did you even go that route?
So it just happened. I was undeclared in college.
Where did you go?
I was at Deltech, and I transferred to Goldie.
Okay.
When I transferred to Goldie, I had my major picked out. So Deltech was where it all started. I was just undeclared, taking my prereqs. I like business. Started reading business books and just ended up choosing business administration. And then as I was taking these accounting courses, which were prereqs to the business admin, they pretty much, the instructors would tell me, because they were accountants, and they would be like, accounting is the language of business.
Yes, it
if
is.
you really want to, excel in business, I would just choose the hardest major in business, which is accounting. And so after they told me that, in my head, it just clicked, like, if I'm going to waste my time going to college for 2 years to get my associates, I'm going to choose something that's really worth it.
Right.
So when I graduate, I'll be ready to get a job right away.
For sure,
Versus just
for
having
sure.
a general business degree that's so broad that, like, what does that mean? Like, you're a business grad versus you're an accounting grad. You can actually specifically do something. You could do taxes. You could do a P&L, like you said. You could do auditing. So chose something specific, and it worked out. Right out of college, I had a job offer with the CPA firm.
That's perfect,
making
man.
Close to $60,000 a year.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
up. So were you at the Wilmington campus at Deltech?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I actually went there myself too.
Did you?
Yeah, I did general business, and the business admin program was so similar to general business that I figured I might as well do both, which was like an additional class or two. So I might as well two birds, one stone kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, I did my time there, and I absolutely loved it. It was so fun. It's something different about being in a small school and building those relationships, like close with the teachers and all that stuff like that. What was your experience like there?
So my experience at Wilmington campus is probably my best college experience. When I went to Goldie, it wasn't the same. It was more, the college is actually smaller at Goldie, but the students, if you think about it, the students are out-of-staters. They only live there on the campus for the semester, and then they're gone. So it actually, even though it was a smaller college, the atmosphere just felt more spread out. So whereas, Wilmington campus, Deltech, everybody that goes there, I'd say 90% of them live in-state. I knew most of the people there from either high school or just from around, being around Newcastle County. So I would say Wilmington campus was one of the best experiences I ever had in college.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. What would you say to someone that is going through their associate's degree into their bachelor's? Like, what are some key notes you would tell them? Some key points to have success there?
Yeah, I mean, so most people who are going for their associate's degree, for the most part, go to a community college, right? And a lot of people think that going to community college makes you inferior or just kind of, it's not as prestigious as going to a regular 4-year college. I would say Deltech was harder than Goldie Beacom College. All the classes I took at Deltech, the ones that transferred to Goldie, once I got to Goldie, students, I would show some students my my course materials, or we would talk, like, for example, I took business calculus at Deltech.
Yeah.
The business calculus at Deltech was Goldie's business calc 1 and 2 put together. Just to put it in
Really?
perspective, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and you could, Vinny's in, Vinny, am I ain't I right? What's up? The business calculus at Deltech was business calc 1 and 2 at Goldie. It was insane. Like, so when I took business calc 2 at Goldie, I already knew that stuff because I took business calc 1 at Deltech. So I was helping the students there. I was like, oh, we already did this. We're doing integrals or
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I was after I finished Deltech, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do Goldie, Wilmington, or UD. But when I ultimately ended up going with UD, and when I was in there, you needed the calculus course.
Yeah.
And I figured, I might as well take it at Deltech because one, it's a lot cheaper, but apparently it's tougher than some of the other colleges. So I'm glad I did. It's really cool. So how long have you been in real estate now?
It's been exactly a year and like 2 months.
A year and 2 months? Okay, what has that been like? Honestly, by the way, that's shocking because you carry yourself like you've been doing this thing for like a while now.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
get that a
awesome.
lot, yeah.
So tell me about like your year and a half so far.
Yeah. So, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Rico? No, you're good. You're good.
Good, man. Yeah. So in that one, I mean, I would really just say it's been a year. A year, 2 months. In that year, I've learned so much because I pretty much associated myself with the some of the top producers in the area. I started off with a major player, but he wasn't too keen on helping newbies out. I got some game from him, but he just wasn't. He was into other things. And
Yeah.
he's older too. He's 50 years old. I respect him a lot still, but he just wasn't into helping newbies out. So I moved on from him and joined now Corey Harris, who you know.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's been phenomenal. He's the best broker I've ever worked for.
I don't personally think I know Corey Harris. I know Craig though.
You know Craig, yeah.
I know Craig.
Yeah,
That's who
yeah.
I know. Corey Harris follows me on Instagram. I think it's or the Harris real estate page is the one that follows me on
Okay.
Instagram. But I know Craig.
Yeah.
But Craig is awesome. I love Craig. He
Yeah.
should definitely come here on the pod and,
Oh, yeah.
talk
Yeah,
it
we'll
up a
get
little
him-
bit
we'll get
too.
him in
For
here.
sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Okay, so year and a half. Now I have a question about that. This past year, it was kind of a rocky like year for real estate.
Yeah.
Like home prices, interest rates, and the year before that, everybody was on it because interest rates were lower and prices were, deemed fair and just the market was hot. Now there's barely any inventory.
Yeah.
So you as an agent, what has that activity been like with prospect sellers or buyers?
Yeah, so a lot of sellers are on the fence. They don't really want to list their house right now because they know that they're not going to get top dollar like sellers were even like 6-8 months ago. Buyers, the ones that need to buy and still want to buy, some of them are getting priced out because the interest rate bumped up. So if they were pre-approved, 4 months ago at like maybe 4%, now it's 6.5 or even 7.25 for some people, depending on their credit score.
For sure.
They no longer have that pre-approval amount that they had, 4 months ago. So it's tough on buyers. I would say it's tougher on buyers, the ones that need to move for a specific reason. I'm working with some of them right now, and it's a little disheartening on their end,
Yeah.
and my end too, because I have to work with them.
Right.
But on my end, it hasn't slowed down because, like I said, I've been capitalizing on distressed properties. So
Right.
even though right now is a bad time, I found an opportunity where you can still find real estate deals in a bad time, which is the short sales I was mentioning, or finding even properties with equity that you don't have to short sale that you can possibly wholesale, depending on what the numbers look like.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as an agent and in your day-to-day job, what does that look like to you from beginning to end? Well, because I know you have your own. Is it your own office that you built? So tell me about that. How does that work?
It's not my office. It's
Okay.
my buddy Lewis.
Okay.
I'll bring him on here one day.
For sure.
He's a great dude. Hardest worker I've ever met.
Okay,
So,
I like that.
100%. Yeah. So me and him pretty much built a shed in his backyard,
Mm-hmm.
and we converted it into an office. We floored it up, drywall, insulation, everything. And his brother-in-law actually built the structure of it. So
Okay.
we did the inside. And we just converted. We have monitors in there. We have chairs. I think I've sent you videos.
It looks official. It looks official. You guys have like the motivation canvases around the wall. I seen that. I seen
we got
that.
everything. Yeah.
So walk me through your day to day as an agent. What do you look for? Where do you start when you log into the computer? Like what kind of calls you make, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. So I wake up and I try to. So every day, my quota is to make 200 calls of prospecting every day.
Oh, wow.
For the most part.
Yeah.
With an exception of Mondays and Fridays, because I've read some statistics that the best days of the week to cold call is Tuesday through Thursday.
Yep.
Because just depending on some people don't work Mondays or Fridays because they're in a specific field, or a lot of people hate Mondays.
Right.
So they're not in a good mood. So
Right.
they just won't pick up or whatever. But
Yeah.
So I'll wake up, I'll make about 100 cold calls. I'll call distressed sheriff sale owners or some kind of, I would say like short sale list that I have going on that I put together, the night before.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll take a break. I'll go to the gym, come back and keep making my calls till I hit that 200.
Okay, so why the gym? Is it a gym like a booster for you, or they use throughout the day, or what?
Yeah, it's just it just breaks up the day.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll go early in the morning, but then I find that all I have to look forward to that day is just work.
Yeah.
Whereas if I work, split the day up, go to the gym, eat, go back
Right.
to work, it kind of feels like it flows better.
It's like you're kind of like installing some breaks in
Yeah.
between the work.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
I see.
And you come
Kinda-
back refreshed too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when you're doing these calls, like how do you go about approaching these stress sellers? Like what is it? It's like how do you go about it? Like what's the psychology behind it? Where do you try to pinpoint?
Yeah, that's a good question. So what I found is, and I've studied this a little bit, so you got to know the personality types. So there's 4 personality types that have been studied and broken down. So you have your driver, you have your analytical, you have your expressive, and you have your amiable. So pretty much the driver is somebody who's assertive, who wants to get to the answer quickly. They want to cut they don't want to cut through the BS. They don't want you to sweet talk them or anything.
Yeah.
Analytical is what it sounds like. They're number driven, fact driven. Amiable is nice, reserved, more easygoing. And then Your other one, your expressive, is more like exactly what it sounds like. You know, they're open and emotional, and they want to get to be heard.
And do you find that sometimes they kind of leak into one another? Like you'll find a person that has like one or two of those personalities?
Yeah. I would say driver and analytical are very similar, and expressive and amiable are also very similar, with the exception of driver being more extroverted,
Okay.
analytical introvert, and then same thing, amiable being introvert, and the other one, expressive, being more extroverted.
So tell me, which one do you like dealing with the most?
I would say probably analytical.
Okay. Why is that?
Analytical and driver, because they're to the point. They won't BS you. A lot of amiables, they'll get on the phone and they're very agreeable. So they're scared to hang up on you, or they're scared to tell you no. So they'll kind of tell you what you want to hear. So I'll say, hey, I see here you're going to foreclosure or whatever. Is there anything I can do to help you? And they won't get to the, like, if they know that they're not going to go to foreclosure, they won't tell me that. They'll say, hey, no, not right now. Maybe you can give me a call back tomorrow. And I'll chase them for a week, and they just never pick up on me. Now I just wasted my time. Whereas I work with a driver, he's like, no, or he hangs up on me right away. I know they don't want to work with me. So it saves a lot of time. So I appreciate the drivers and analyticals.
For sure. So how do you go about keeping track of these prospects? Like, do you have like a tracker or something on Excel? Like, how do you go about that?
Yeah, so we have a CRM. Corey, I'm on Corey's team, so he provides.
For those that don't know, what exactly is a CRM?
It's a customer relationship management tool. Pretty much, you have all your leads funneled in through these systems, and it's a way to keep track of your leads, whether they're hot leads, cold leads, where they're at in the process. It's really just like a big notepad where you're just going to keep all the notes of each individual person, because obviously you wouldn't be able to do that if you just try to remember it all.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So how active are you looking at it on a daily basis?
Every day, all day.
Perfect. So real estate looking forward into the future, what are your thoughts on the activity in the market? Do you think you're going to get more business, less business? Are you pivoting in any way?
Right now, I can happily say I'm not pivoting. If anything, it's picking up because I've been doubling down on purchasing distressed property leads. So the market is tanking. It's not going in a good direction. But because of that, I'm capitalizing on these leads that are, unfortunately losing their house.
Yeah.
So I come in and I help them. And a lot of people like to see it as, oh, you're, profiting off of unfortunate circumstances. But I'm really not, because if you think about it, these people are going to lose their house anyways.
Yeah.
So I come in and help them at least get something to show for it, whether that be selling the house or that be at least them not getting hit with a foreclosure.
Okay.
Which is both of those things we do. We can help you sell the house before the sheriff's sale, or sheriff's sale just means auction for those that don't know.
Okay.
Or we can get it sold for you and stop the foreclosure all at once. So it's really a win-win situation. The only unfortunate thing is that a lot of people don't have nowhere to go. So they have to live in their car. They have to go stay with a sibling, or whatever it may be. But they wouldn't have anywhere to go even if we weren't there. And then they get hit with a foreclosure, and they just lost everything. So we're coming in and doing a good service.
So when you're coming across these stressed clients, prospects, and they're being very emotional about everything and potentially losing their home, like how do you go about handling that situation? Also trying to I don't want to say benefit, but you know what I mean, like trying to close in a way. Yeah. How do you handle that stress?
Yeah, it's really a case-by-case basis. It's different with every person. It's really tough. I have somebody right now who's losing his house the 10th of this month.
Okay.
Which is this Tuesday that's coming up. And I've been talking to him for about a month and a half already. I call him every week.
Yeah.
And every week it's the same thing I get from him, and he just starts cursing. He starts pretty much saying, nobody's getting this house, I'll burn the thing down, blah, blah, blah. And I feel bad because he says, if I sell this house, I'll be living in my Mustang on the side of the road. Oof. So it's really tough to call him every time and remind him, hey, look, we tried everything. We've tried modifying your loan. Yeah. We've tried negotiating with the bank. Whatever we have to do to whatever we do usually to try to stop a foreclosure. It hasn't worked. We've tried everything. The only thing left is to sell it, and at least you don't get hit with a foreclosure. Okay. But where he's at right now is he's not seeing reason, because he's going to be living in his car on the side of the road. So those are the cases where it trips me up, and I don't have an answer for you. It's just, yeah.
That's kind of like the crappy part about business. Yeah. It still needs to get done. and
exactly.
and no matter what happens, you just gotta make a sale at the end of the day, you know.
You do.
So
Yeah.
it's very knowledgeable, by the way.
Oh, thank
This
you.
guy's
Appreciate
too
it.
worried about the lady
Hey,
the lady
chill,
that's waiting for him.
chill.
I'm about to ask you about her.
TMI. TMI.
So I thought you said you want to talk about anything, man.
Hey,
Okay.
we're businessmen.
Well, you know, we're doing some sort of business, you know.
Yeah.
I think we're good. Yeah, no, the sound is back on. I like that. No, we're great now. Okay, so I'll just do like a fade in, fade out kind of thing, and then we'll be
good.
right back on.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So this girl that you're picking up, no, I'm kidding. All right. So my next question to you was, okay, let's say I'm an interested home buyer, right? I come across this guy, Troy, right? How do I position myself as a potential buyer to best approach you in finding a property?
Yeah, so the first thing is getting in touch with a knowledgeable realtor. So are you asking, like, how do you find one? How do you get in touch with one?
As a here, I'm going to put you in a little closer. As a interested buyer, you know, I want to buy a house.
Buy a house, yeah.
How do I best prepare myself to approach you and make your life a lot easier?
Yeah. So that's a good. I wish more people actually thought that way, but it's never going to be that way. Right now, the way it works is you would just. I know you know everything, but like let's say,
The only thing I know, Troy, is that I know nothing at all.
so most people, what they do is they get on their phone and they get on Zillow and they see a house they like. Right, they're scrolling, they see a house they like, and it's going to have a pop up. Every Zillow Realtor.com app on your phone is going to pop up and say, "Hey, do you want to know more about this house?" So, you know, assuming you're on there looking for a house and you like something and it's going to ask you, do you want to know more about this house? And you like the house, you say yes, you put in your name, email, phone number. You're going to come, we purchase these Zillow.com and Realtor.com leads.
Okay.
So you would come into my system. I'd see Emilio Pastor there's looking at, 123 Main Street. I have your phone number, I have your email, and I know your name. So I'm going to call you and say, hey, Emilio, hey, I see you're looking for a house. This is Troy of Crown Homes. I see you're looking at 123 Main Street. Did you want to go take a look at it? Did you have questions? And most buyers, they don't know what they have to do. They don't even know how to get started. So that's where we come in. It's a very easy process. And where we come in is we just point you in the right direction. We say, hey, Emilio, I ask you some basic questions. How long have you been working? Have you held a steady job for at least 2 years? How much do you make? I could send you to a lender, get you pre-approved. The main thing is finding out your motivation, right? Because a lot of people, they want to look at houses all day, but they don't really have real motivation.
Right.
A lot of people already own a home, and they're thinking about moving if the right deal comes. But everybody's going to move if the right deal comes, So when they tell you, I'm thinking about moving if the right thing comes, then that's not real motivation. I want to talk to somebody who's telling me, hey, I have to move. My lease ends in January. I'm done paying rent. Or hey, I have to move out. My landlord's kicking me out. So the best way would be to get your priorities straight, know your motivation, and be able to explain that to the realtor.
For sure. Because that's exactly what happened to me with my first property. My lease was coming to an end, and I was tired of renting because I knew I was going to be in Delaware for a long time. So I figured I might as well stop paying somebody else's pockets and start paying myself through some equity.
Yeah.
So that worked out that way. So so I call Troy. And I tell him, you call me. I tell you I'm looking for a home. Let's say North Wilmington area. Well, okay, do you want to play a quick role play kind of thing like that?
We can.
Okay, so I'm looking for a house in let's stick to Newcastle, Newcastle area. My budget, I'm looking for around maybe $200,000 to $250,000 home. Okay, so where do we go from there?
Yeah, so I'd come in and say, hey, Emilio, okay, what I could do is I'll put you on a search plan. I'll take your email right now. And that way I can start sending you homes. I'll take down your criteria. I'll usually have some kind of notepad on me, or I'll take it down in my phone. That way I send you the right stuff. And I'm going to ask you, hey, Emilio, what's going on? When do you need to move by? And that's...
So I need to move in first thing, let's see, January 2024. I have a wife and a kid, newborn, and we're essentially looking for a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom at the very least, because 1, we want a room for the baby, and 2, I want a room for my home office because I work from home.
Okay, yeah. So I would then ask you, are you currently renting or do you own a home?
Currently rent.
Currently renting, right? So and when does your lease end?
My lease ends right at the end of this year. Just got into it, but I figured might as well jump into homeowning the following year.
Right, fantastic. Okay, then that sounds like you sound like a hot lead to me. I would take you very seriously. I would start sending you homes right away, and I would proactively on my end look at any off-market deals or any coming soon listings that you can't see on your end, and text them to you, email them to you, whatever I need to do. I would call you frequently and make sure that I get these properties in front of you. If you want to go see a house on a Friday night, and I know that your lease is ending at the end of this year, I'm going to show you the house on a Friday night.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like the most challenging part about real estate is there's so much happening at once that people get intimidated by it.
Yeah.
They hear they hear like, oh, you only need like 20% down, avoid PMI, private mortgage insurance, or you could get away with less than 10%, thing like that. But then they forget to take in consideration closing costs and all the extra stuff on top. So they have an original number that they think in mind, but then they forget about the rest of the numbers.
Exactly.
And then once they come across those numbers, they immediately become flustered, and it takes away from the whole experience of buying your first home. So as you said, get your priorities straight. Not straight, but like know your priorities, know what it is you want, and then go to a guy like Troy about it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So do you deal with investors at all?
Oh yeah, all the time.
So how different is dealing with just a person that's looking for the first home versus an investor who's just looking for an investment property?
Yeah, they both have their pros and cons. Investors, if I don't know them like that, I won't take them too seriously at first, because a lot of them just want somebody to come and show up and let them in the house so they can take a look at it for 5 minutes and decide it's not the one. Because they're analytical. They want to take a look at what's going on with it. And if one small thing is wrong, or if the numbers just don't add up, then they'll never call me again. Or they'll just get back on Zillow, hit the contact agent, and then just go have another agent show them the house. Completely different day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which one do you prefer to deal with?
Yeah, I prefer to deal with people looking for a house to live in.
Okay.
Because they're looking for somewhere to live. That's telling me that you're way more invested in the search. And investors are just, it's superficial. They're not going to live in it. They don't really care what area it's in. As long as the numbers add up and make sense on their end, they don't care.
Right. And it's funny because I do ask that to some of my real estate investor friends, which actually, where's Arthur? He's not here yet? Okay. What's up? What do you mean, do I want him to come? He was invited. He filled out the form. Well, he's disturbing me right now. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I told him to show up. I literally texted him before and I told him to show up. So yeah, my friend Arthur here is a real estate investor.
I think I met him last time.
Yeah, and he told me what are you looking for? It's like whatever makes sense. So he's the analytical guy.
That's your answer.
He's one of those guys where he'll maybe see the property listing. He'll run like a basic like rule of thumb kind of numbers in his head. Go see it, and if it checks out whatever standards he has there, then he'll just go through it. It's especially after you pick it up after sometimes. It's just a transaction.
It's exactly. There's no emotions tied to it.
Not at all.
No emotions.
Like think about. So when you go to the grocery store, right, and you got to pick up, let's say, some cereal, you don't really think about literally what all the specific nutrients of the cereal is or where exactly it came from, what company it's from. You just swipe your card and then just go on about your day.
Yeah.
Some real estate investors really go about that way in houses to think about it. It's crazy.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, real estate investing, it's definitely something big in America.
Yeah.
Are you in it at all?
I'm currently not in it. I actually made a goal this year to purchase my first property to live in, and possibly get a duplex like you did, and rent out one side, live in the other, house hack. That's ideally that's my goal this year.
For sure, man. Look, I know this really good guy. I think you really like him so much. He actually has the same name as you. His name is Troy.
Oh yeah.
I could get you his number actually.
Okay.
Yeah, last name Bernal. Sound familiar? Nah, I'm joking. So outside of real estate, man, who are you? Who's Troy outside of real estate, man? Because here, I've known you for a little while now.
Yeah.
I would say maybe even a year now. I would even say that, if not close.
Probably close.
If not close. And
I think I met you like March of last year or something.
Yeah, and I'm learning now the most I've ever learned about you, like, period.
Yeah.
So who are you outside of real estate? What do you do?
Yeah.
For fun or anything?
I mean, just very highly goal oriented. I really don't do much right now. I don't take vacations like that. I mean, I just went to Puerto Rico last August.
I don't take vacations like that. I just went to Puerto Rico.
But listen, but you didn't let me finish. didn't let me finish. Prior to that, the last time I went on a vacation was with my boy Reyes to Puerto Vallarta back in like 2018. Yeah.
Reyes?
Yeah, Reyes.
Oh, okay,
boy
my
Reyes.
man. The entrepreneur barber.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I hang out with people that are traveling 5 times a year, you know. So I feel like I personally don't travel a lot. I mean, I guess somebody can look at me and say, I've never been on a vacation. So, you know, if you want to look at it that way. But
So how was PR? What took you to
awesome.
PR?
It was fantastic. My boy Lucas is Puerto Rican, and he was going. So I decided to tag along with him and his other people. And
What was the highlight of your trip?
yeah, there was this
If you can share it publicly,
I
of
can
course.
share it, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll be PG here. I mean, the highlight.
Keyword.
The highlight was the water and being at the beach and just laying down on the sand and just looked. I mean, the water was cleaner than my mirror. Like I could see everything. It was insane.
Yeah, I love that. Nothing like a good clear water, man.
Yeah,
Now that
yeah.
it's like Florida type or what? Have you been to Florida?
I never been to Florida, but I've seen pictures. It's
Okay.
way beautiful. than
Way
Florida.
more beautiful,
Yeah.
man. And how's the nightlife over there?
It's awesome. Yeah, that's all. That's a lot of the trip was nightlife.
I remember when I first saw you after your trip, the first thing you told me is like, man, you should have gone to Puerto Rico, man. All they were playing was Bad Bunny. Is that really all that was going on there?
Yeah, that was like 90% of what they were.
He had a hot year, so I'm sure he was being blown up
had a
all over
great
the
year.
place.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but he actually. Oh snap!
Oh.
Mylan's in the house.
Who
Brr, 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 brr. What time is it? Let's see. You know what? You didn't show up as late as I expected you. I was expecting you tomorrow.
Yeah, he's like,
Go right ahead. Walk through.
expecting you after hours, baby.
Next year, I'll expect you a minute earlier.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Help yourself. The drinks in the back and everything. So yeah, man. Actually, for those that you just don't see in the camera, that Mylan just walked by. He's the guy that we met through. Mylan actually did an episode himself that's coming out very, very soon. So I'm very excited to show you guys that. You know, Mylan has an interesting career background, and he has a lot of good stories to share.
Yeah.
The funniest thing about Mylan, I think, is that any person you ask that has met Mylan, how you met Mylan, there's always a crazy story behind it.
Oh.
Or a funny story at the very least. At the very funny at the very
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
So how did you meet Mylan?
I met him at a UD house party.
Okay.
Back in like 2014.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I bet he does. Yeah. So that night, I was with my buddy Chaz, and we I don't really remember him meeting him too much. I just remember like small episodes of it because I was already.
It's like, were you okay? Were you a little sick, under the weather?
Oh man, I was lit. I was super lit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that some sort of disease, lit? Like, or were you?
It's a phenomenon that occurs. Yeah, it occurs. But yeah, and then all I remember is just getting home and finding out that he took me home the next day. Because I had lost. I had lost my car.
Did he get you
keys or
breakfast the
something.
next day? At least?
He did. He got me. He purchased a burger for me like that same night somewhere in McDonald's or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he right off the bat, I knew, random guy doesn't even know me, took me home, bought me food. Like, it's a fantastic person. Yeah. Oh,
What do you say?
I think I threw up in his car.
Oh,
I may have possibly.
Was that your tip to him?
Yeah.
So Puerto Rico, man. How long were you there for?
Yeah. I was there for a week.
A week.
Yeah.
That's for a trip. Typically, vacations I tend to burn out after 3 days.
Yeah.
Was that a lot for you or what?
No, because I didn't actually party that hard. We enjoyed it. We went out and looked at the scenery, went to the beach and stuff.
Would you go back?
Oh yeah.
Specifically where?
San Juan.
San Juan.
San Juan.
Okay, yeah, Jesse won't stop talking about San Juan. He's always talking about San Juan.
Amazing. It's beautiful.
All right, guys, you already know Puerto Rico, San Juan.
Summer 2023.
We already have something going on summer 23,
yeah?
the Apex,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got a big event there. We just rented out a 7,500 square foot mansion in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah,
It's on an acre of land, and it's gonna be such a good time, man. I'm telling you, such a good time. We already have 2 guest speakers. For those that don't know, EPEX is a personal development destination company where we get a group of people, we go out to different destinations, and we have different workshops, different group events, and we just have the time of our lives. And then we get to go back home and tell everybody, oh, you definitely missed out. So
Sounds about right.
It's a great time. Tampa's next. I'm really excited for everyone to go. We booked a place. And next, we I'm booking speakers right now. The one speaker is a very good friend. His name is Mikey. He works on credit repairs. He's a credit repair specialist, finance guy. He's going to be one of our speakers.
Oh,
and
nice.
then the next speaker is going to be another friend of mine, Alex. Alex was a bomb specialist, actually. He was a bomb specialist, and after he retired from that, he now does sports science. So he's going to be probably leading a few workshops himself.
Oh, nice.
So I think we're going to have a great time. I mean, we're basing the workshops outside of our pillars being health, wealth, love, and happiness.
Yeah.
And just kind of just becoming better, well-developed man in that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a great
100%.
time. So Puerto Rico, where else? Where have you been?
Puerto Rico, Puerto Vallarta. That's really it.
Where do you want to go?
Yeah. I want to go to Cancun. I
Cancun.
want to go to Cancun.
Yes.
Yeah, never been there. Never been there.
Where else, man? Give me a few more, man. Let's dream big.
I mean, I see. That's the thing. I don't really look at vacations like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, like I really just enjoy the grind and first getting to where I want to be financially, and then after that, then I can start looking into some more fun.
You don't have to go into specific numbers or anything, but where do you want to get to financially?
I would say I'm not even thinking about numbers. I'm just thinking about a certain lifestyle financially. Like,
What's that lifestyle like for Troy here?
yeah. I'm looking at like maybe keeping it to 40 hours a week, and then enjoying your weekends off, and being able to take that summer vacation without having to worry about your business or work at home. Having the autonomy, having somebody in place to be able to handle that when you're gone.
For sure. What does freedom look like for Troy?
Freedom,
Financial freedom.
financial freedom. I would say probably right now where I'm at, less than probably a little under like 150 grand a year.
150 grand a
will
year.
give me financial freedom. Yeah,
So how old are you now, Troy, if you don't mind me asking?
27.
27. All right. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Yeah, I see myself, and I've thought about this before. I definitely want to open up my own brokerage for real estate and start doing my own deals under the brokerage and hiring my own agents to come under me, and opening LLCs up and stuff and acquiring properties through there.
Would you ideally like this at the end of the 5-year mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, before it would be awesome too. But
Fuck yeah. What about are you looking to stay in the area?
That's a good question. I'm not too sure about that. I like the area. My family's here. All my friends are here. So most likely, yeah. Most likely.
Okay. And if you had a second option, where would it be?
Florida.
Florida.
My
that's
boy
what-
Mikey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mikey's great. Mikey's also in the Airbnb business.
Is he? Oh, is he?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
When I stayed with him, he booked out one of his rooms for me and just let me stay there. Awesome guy.
awesome.
It's so cool because he has a very nice place where people just rent the rooms and it makes great money.
Yeah.
And it pretty much takes care of itself. And
Yeah.
it's so funny because I always see on his Instagram stories, like he's always at the beach laying. It's like just
Yeah.
another day at work.
That's what I see too.
It's like, there's two kinds of people that live in this world when they see those kind of things.
Yeah.
They're the ones that appreciate and then the ones that hate.
Right.
I know when I see those things, I'm like, man, I want to be that so bad, dude. And who not? It's like,
Yeah, who
that's the
doesn't?
beautiful thing about being in real estate is you could be literally doing deals anywhere. All you
Right.
need is a laptop and some Wi-Fi.
Wife. Yep. Exactly.
That's the greatest thing, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, man. So real estate, you went to Del Tech, you went to Goldie, you do your agent stuff. Well, what else is going on for you, man? What is it that you want to? What is it that you want to do? Like outside of what it is that you already do, like whatever plugs into the back of your head from time to time.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really look at that too much. Like I don't really have a life outside of work, gym, going out on weekends. I mean, I have a social life, but on top of that, like thinking that far ahead or just other type of aspirations is like I'm not there yet.
Then how do you stay so focused?
I just surround myself with people who live and breathe real estate or investing of any kind, and I put myself in their shoes and ask myself what would Lewis do, what would Corey do, what would Craig do.
So how important is it for you to surround yourself around the people that have the like-minded of yours? Do you welcome people that aren't as like-minded as you and have interests in different fields?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but I'm very self-aware of the average of your 5 friends rule. So
Okay.
I take
Is it Tim, Jim? Who was it? The one that said that you're the average of the 5 people you are around, or something like that?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure who said it.
Yeah.
I've just heard so many people say it at this
Right,
point. I
right.
don't know where it started, but I think it's real. And I found myself being able to corroborate that just by looking back and seeing who I was hanging out with in high school and seeing where I was at that point, seeing who I was with in college and seeing how that propelled me to where I'm at today.
And when you were telling me about your day-to-day with real estate, you were talking about books a little bit. Is there any specific books that you would recommend to people about to read into or anything like that? Mindset related, real estate related, whatever related?
Yeah, I would say, so there was one, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I remember when I first read that book, it really just did like a whole paradigm shift for me. It like flipped the switch. I was in college. I still remember I was at Del Tech at the library reading it. And it really just, I can't explain it other than it flipped the switch in me. And then ever since I read that book, I've been on this like growth mindset, this abundance mindset where there really is no limit to what you can do. And it sounds kind of corny, but if you really believe it, then there's nothing stopping you, you know?
It's really the first change happens here, right? Yeah. It happens inside. That's so funny. So would you say your turning point was while you were at Del Tech reading a book?
I would say it was, I would say that was a big turning point, yeah. What's up, buddy?
Hi, Jesse.
Hello.
How was that pound of weed you just smoked?
Where's the donut at, man?
Yeah, man.
Listen, I'm here.
Maybe I should be a little later in your episode when I upload it Monday. What's up, man?
Hey, listen, you already scheduled
What's up, man?
You know Jesse, right?
Of course, man.
Yeah.
How could I not know Jesse?
Right.
Jesse James?
So, you know, it's funny that you had a turning point for yourself at Del Tech because I did too.
Yeah.
I met my buddy Ian. I don't know. Do you know Ian Chinnery?
No.
Does that sound familiar?
Ian what?
Ian Chinnery?
No.
Yeah. So my buddy Ian, he introduced me to this book by Robert Kiyosaki while I was in Del Tech called The Business of the 21st Century.
Okay.
And that book kind of did it for me too mentally, kind of switch into that money mindset kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
So it was at Del Tech too. So that's funny.
Yeah, it is.
There you go, man. There's I think in Del Tech, you know, I love this so much because you get to learn a lot about yourself, and it's different than when you go to bigger colleges and there's people that are going there. And not to take credit from any of these families, it's different when you choose to go to college because you want to versus because your parents told you to. It's a little different. It's a little different. It's a little different when you're paying for it and your parents are paying for it. But me, myself, I would like to pay for my kids' college, but, you know, it's a different kind of grind. You know, there's LeBron James and then there's LeBron James' son.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's different kind of hunger.
Yep.
But what are your thoughts today on today's like school system? Because what you do now in real estate, you don't necessarily need to go to school for or anything like that.
No, you don't.
So what do you think about that?
I think I definitely think it's flawed, but I don't think people should shame on it or try to deter people away from college. Because that's all I see now is you don't need to go to college.
Right.
Like, I don't just see that. I see don't go to college. It's a waste of your time. And I 100% disagree with that because I wouldn't be here or I wouldn't be in this entrepreneurial mindset if I didn't go to college. And because when I finished high school, I really had no direction or no sense of urgency or motivation to really do anything. It wasn't until I got to college and I was paying for it myself and I realized that, you know, you're not going to get anywhere in this world if you don't try, that I actually started putting in the hours and work and trying. And that's what really did that whole paradigm mind shift for me and put me into this whole, growth, getting better every day type of thing.
So how do you hold yourself accountable with all these goals you have in mind and everything?
I really just look at my my quota for the day, whether it's work or the gym or whatever I'm doing in respect to that field. I'll look at what I'm supposed to be doing, and if I'm not there yet, then I'll pick back up on it tomorrow, or if I could still have time to do it today, I'll finish it up. But I really believe in like finishing what you can today and don't wait for tomorrow.
Okay, that's interesting. So wait, finishing what you can today and don't wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do something today, why wait for tomorrow?
Okay,
tomorrow you have time to do what tomorrow's task is. So I really I'm big on staying disciplined. I listen to a lot of Jocko Willink, and he says discipline equals freedom. So if I'm supposed to make 200 calls today and I only make 150, I don't feel like I feel like I did something wrong. I feel like I didn't meet the quota. So I'll go back, even if it's 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and I'll make the other 50 calls until I get it to 200.
He has some great books.
Yeah.
Is it The Dichotomy of Leadership? That's one of them?
Yeah, Dichotomy of Leadership.
And what's it called? Something about...
Ownership.
Extreme ownership,
extreme ownership,
and he
Yeah.
just kind of goes into his days in the Navy.
Yeah.
Was he a SEAL?
He was a SEAL.
As a SEAL,
Yeah.
and kind of how the principles and everything he used to
Yeah.
lead his team to success and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and dealing with conflict and all that stuff.
Yep.
So, and I really love the dichotomy of leadership, because it really goes into real life examples of, sometimes when you have a group of friends and you put yourself in a leadership position, that sometimes you come into that conflict of your friends won't take you as serious because you're that friend.
Yeah.
So it's knowing how to divide that line of, hey, you're my friend, I love you, but we need to take care of stuff. So I
Right.
need to hold myself accountable as a leader and you accountable as a person I need for this task.
Yeah.
Great book for that.
Yeah.
Any other books you recommend?
David Goggins, Never Give Up. You Can't Hurt Me. That's the one.
Can't Hurt Me.
Never Give Up just came out. Yeah.
Oh, that's a new one?
That's the yeah. You got it. Yeah. So You Can't Hurt Me. That's a life-changing book there too.
Get hard. Get hard. Stay hard. Stay hard. Is it stay hard? Get hard.
All right. Yeah. You took it there.
That's another one. That's David Goggins after hours.
They were saying,
Sorry, guys.
David Goggins should sponsor a Trojan company or something because he's always saying,
Hey, man. He'll be a great advocate for it. He'll be a great advocate.
That's all he says.
For sure.
Stay hard. Yeah.
So, Troy, talk to me, man. What else is there to know about Troy? What does the world not know about Troy that Troy thinks to himself in his private time that Troy would like the world to know a little bit about more?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I really got nothing for you right now. I don't really think I'm not that philosophical about my life or like deeper purpose, if that makes sense. So as of right now, I really don't have anything to answer that.
That's absolutely fine, man. But now it's something that we can think about, right?
Yeah, 100%.
For sure, man. Who else should we bring on here that you think might be a good fit?
My boy Lewis. I think he'd be a great person.
Lewis what?
Louis Rosado.
Louis Rosado.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And when he does primarily what?
What was that?
He's in real estate, right?
He's in real estate. He's an interesting person. He does Amtrak at night, real estate during the day, and he's also a licensed home inspector. So
Hell yeah.
he's got a lot of things under his belt. Yeah.
If Troy had to do anything other than real estate, what would it be?
I'd probably still be in accounting or some kind of business field. Probably finance. I like finance a lot. Wealth management. That was another thing that I was debating, whether that or real estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so hard to like pick these things up for you because like when we're now in a party setting and all that stuff, I would have never like. It's different because you see different personalities, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm so glad we got to do this. I have another question for you.
Yeah.
In Troy's tombstone, if you had to have one thing engraved for what he was remembered as, what would you like that to say?
Yeah. I would say, and I've thought about this before, and
How do you want the world to remember Troy?
I really debate it, but without sounding too cheesy, I would say just you never know till you try. So just take the shot.
Troy, tell us where we can find you, where we can utilize your services, where we can buy our first home, where we could buy our next investment property. Fill us in on all those details.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Troy Sells DE, all one word. DE is for abbreviation for Delaware. You can find me on Facebook at We Do Sold. You can find my business page there. And if you Google my name, you'll find my Zillow profile with reviews and the homes I've sold in the area.
All right. Well, Troy, thank you so much for joining us in today's episode of the EP podcast. It has been great to get to know you in this scope of things. So I'm excited to work with you in the future, see you more, go out more, enjoy ourselves. But thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yep.
Any other questions or anything you have for me? Anything else you want to touch on before we go?
Not right now, buddy. I mean, I'm sure I will, but I'll ask you later tonight.
All right. Oh, jeez. All right. All right. You going to buy me a burger tomorrow?
Only if you don't puke in my car.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode of the EP podcast. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And please stay with us because we have many more episodes to come. But in the meantime, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.